Many people wonder, does it make sense to negotiate a settlement? This video will discuss whether it makes sense to negotiate a settlement and what the process looks like. Often people want to know if they can resolve their case without going to trial. In many situations, when you know the debt is valid, settlement is possible and the right thing to do. A volunteer attorney or licensed paralegal practitioner can help you get it resolved if it is the right choice. So what do settlements typically look like? Settlements typically are one of two types. The first is a lump sum payment. This means that you're either paying the full amount or a very significant portion of the agreed upon amount quickly. The plaintiff often gives a discount if you're taking this option. You need to understand they are not required to do so. It is a negotiation. Often the larger the amount or the faster you can pay, the more likely they are to bargain with you. The other option is to enter into a payment plan. This is another way of negotiating with the other side. You offer to pay the debt over time in a consistent manner. And again, the more you can offer to pay and the quicker you can make regular payments, the more likely the other side is to work with you. You may even get a small discount. However, again, this is not guaranteed, and it probably will not be as much of a discount as they would have offered for the lump sum payment. But you still may get a little bit, and it's worth trying. So just remember that the amount you pay and the time it takes will affect the amount of any discount that is offered. Now, you might be thinking that you should offer to pay a large amount to get a bigger discount. It's important not to do this unless you can afford it. We strongly recommend that you not enter either type of agreement unless you know you can actually make the payments on time and consistently. So do not enter into agreement that you know you cannot keep, because the minute you miss a payment or do not make a full payment, most agreements obligate you to judgment for the full amount. So be sure you only agree to something that you can handle. Again, this is a negotiation, so you'll have the option to go back and forth. And be sure when you're doing this to match your payments to when you get paid, so you have the money available and don't miss. Now later, if you have an agreement and something unexpected happens that prevents you from paying, communicate this to the debt collector. Even if your agreement says that they will not change the terms of your agreement, if you reach out to them in advance and explain the situation and let them know that there's a problem, they may be willing to work with you. Tell them why. It's always wise to reach out and to talk and to try. They're not required to, but they are much more likely to do so if you talk to them before you miss the deadline. Now remember, if a judgment is entered against you, it will likely affect your credit. Also, if they must go back to court because you miss a payment, then they can add more costs to the amount that you owe. So if you settle, you need to make sure that you fully understand your settlement terms. It's not enough to have the total amount due. If you settle, you need to make sure you fully understand the agreement that you're signing. This agreement is sometimes called a stipulation. So what are you going to want to know? Well, it's going to be things like how much, how many, and when exactly are payments due. Where can you make or send payments? These payments are usually sent or taken to the law offices of the plaintiff's lawyer. Sometimes debt collectors also accept payments through their online website. Check to see which forms of payment are allowed. For example, do they take debit cards or credit cards? Are personal checks allowed? Or does it need to be a cashier's check or money order? Will they accept cash? These are all important things that you need to know, and you may be signing away rights by accepting the settlement. So be sure to ask, are you giving up the right to sue the other side? Are you limiting your rights in some way? Be sure to fully read the stipulation, and if there is anything that you don't understand, you're going to want to use the resources that we talk about in the video on free help. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch and learn more about the settlement process. If you have more questions, you can talk to your volunteer or come to our Pro Se Community Clinic. Thank you, and we wish you the best.